next for Cincinnati will be this Saturday against Temple, 8 p.m. Eastern Time start. The game will be televised on ESPN News. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call this morning. If you could take a minute to tie up the opener against Alabama A&M, tell us what you expect to see as you step into conference play against Temple Saturday, please.
Yes, it was a good opener for us. It was the type of game that we needed. We played close to 70 players. It was good to get that one underneath our belt. We got a lot of opportunities to look at different guys and some in different positions. Now we know we got to step up and get ready for a full game now with most of our starters and our backups. Temple played a great game, beat a so-called Power 5 team, and beat them pretty good. And Temple's been working for this year for several years. They got a lot of seniors on their team, very experienced. It'll be a tough game. We've got some experienced players, and it should be a very good football game. Looking forward to it. They're well coached, and I've been very impressed with them over the years. Our coach does a great job, and just excited about having a home game here and hopefully not have a lightning delay. We had 1-2 hours last week, and that kind of throws your fans off. But looking forward to having a packed house in our new stadium and getting started with conference play.
To take questions for Coach Tuberville, please star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. Then the operator will introduce you.
We'll go first to Tom Groshen with the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to just look at Temple. Obviously, the defense jumps out with the 10 sacks, and they held Penn State pretty much in check the other day. What about the offense? Could you just comment on both sides of what makes them such a formidable team at this point?
Yeah, they're well coached on both sides of the ball. They do a good job. They don't do a whole lot. They play a lot of technique. They pressure you when they need to on defense. They've got a lot of seniors, a lot of guys that's been around, a lot of guys that's played a lot of football, a lot of good football. And they were, unfortunately, last year left out of the bowl situation, which they should not have been. That was really unfair. And I'm sure they've got a rock in their craw this year, knowing that they're going to play the best that they can play, and they did that last week. They dominated that football game against Penn State. So we know what we've got in front of us defensively with our offense. We've got to take advantage better than what we did last year. They whipped our offense pretty good last year, and fortunately our defense played well enough for us to win in Philadelphia. Their offense is ran by their quarterback. He's very mobile. They're doing some things with him to get him in and out of the pocket. He runs the ball. He's gotten much better. His first start was against us 2 years ago and here, and you can just tell how much better he's gotten. They've got a good offensive line, a lot of speedy receivers, and some very quick running backs. So this is a better team than they had last year, obviously with the experience, and we're going to have to play one of our better games to have an opportunity to win the game.
Thanks. You have one more victory to reach 150 in your career. Could you speak to that a little bit and maybe what that means to you, and if there's one or two that maybe stand out among all those?
Well, all victories in college football are important. There's some a little better than others, obviously, because they're maybe a rival games or championship games, something like that. But I've been fortunate to be around a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches over the years, and excited that I've got to this point. I never would have imagined I'd had an opportunity to be getting close to 150, but hopefully I can get much farther than this over the years. It's been fun to this point, but I want to keep getting them, and again give the credit to all the players and coaches I've been associated with. It's been a lot of fun.
Is there one or two that stand out? I know you probably don't want to offend anybody who was along the way, but maybe the first one or maybe a big win years ago or anything?
Well, all games, conference games are big. Last year, obviously the Temple game was huge for us. Gave us an opportunity to get to the Houston game to have a chance to at least get a part of the championship, winning part of the conference championship here last year. The first game here, we played Purdue. I thought that was huge. The way we played very well as a new coaching staff and really a new football team. And then over the years, coaching at Auburn, winning the Iron Bowl 6 in a row was was something I never dreamed would happen, but excited about that. But there's other victories. Even when I was an assistant, won 3 national championship games, being a part of those. But you can remember all of them. I can go back and tell you pretty much, all the scores of all the games that I've coached. Not just the ones we won, but the ones we've lost.
I have just one more quick one. Health-wise, how did you come out of the game with injuries the other night?
Yeah, we're in good shape. We've got some guys back that didn't play last week. We've got some bumps and bruises. I don't think we had anybody played over 20, 25 plays. It was a good opening game where we can get a lot of guys in, look at them, but it was also one where we had to go out and play well. We put ourselves in the hole. We stunk it up in special teams. By playing some people that had not played much, we'll go back to some of our normal alignments now that we're in conference play. We'll be much more sound. But just trying to get some guys in the game last week, affected our execution of our special teams. But, again, that's what first games are for, and you hope to just get through that first game with a win, and we did that. Now we can correct everything that we did wrong, get about 60 guys ready to go, and get after this conference season.
Okay, thanks.
We'll go next to Shannon Green with the Orlando Sentinel.
Good morning, Coach. I'm curious to know, based off of the opponent that you guys played last Saturday, I'm not sure if you can get enough of a gauge to see what all the improvements were, but what were some of the key improvements that you did see on the defensive side of the ball?
Well, on the defensive side of the ball, we're wanting to play a lot of guys. We're wanting to get them in, keep them fresh. We're better athletically. Get 11 guys to the football more often than we did last year. I think that's going to give us an opportunity of being able to play around 22 to 25 players. Last year we played 14 or 15, and it's good for the long haul. Again, we're still young in some areas, but we do have more depth. We don't have quite as much as experience last year. Our linebackers are not as experienced, but I thought they played a good first game. Really excited about our front 8, basically. We've got 2 deep that we're going to continue to rotate in and out. I think that's going to help us. And you don't just look for, game to game. You look for what's going to happen 8 or 9 games from now. Are you still going to be healthy enough to continue to do that? So that's the reason we're working on our depth, our experience, and I think our coaches have done a good job recruiting just athletes to play on the defensive side of the ball.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go next to Bill Cook with GoBearcats.com.
Tommy, Tom mentioned the defense at Temple, and he mentioned the sacks. Can you speak more specifically about the 10 sacks they had last week and how much of a concern that is for you going into this game?
Well, the first thing they did, they got Penn State into a throwing game, which when they got them down, they got after them. And, it was just Temple was by far the best team in that game. That was not a fluke whatsoever. They got after it, but they do every game. Every game that you go back and watch from last year, they play with a lot of intensity. They play hard, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. They tackle pretty well, and again, they're just well coached. They have been since I've been in this league, and again, they this year they're fortunate to have a lot of experienced guys back that. Lets them play faster defensively. They play very fast, and again, when you get that many sacks, you're giving people problems. You're whipping people at the point of attack, and you're getting a lot of people around the football. There's a lot of different guys had sacks in that game, and it wasn't from a lot of blitzing. There was a lot of just 4-man rush and just whipping the other team and getting the ball back for their offense.
One more thing, they played Temple, as you call it, a so-called Power 5 team. You played a 1AA team. Do they have any kind of advantage because of who they played in their opener?
Oh, I don't know. Just after one game, you really can't tell a whole lot about either team other than the fact that they played well, played better. They had to play a little bit longer with their starters. I went into that game saying that we were going to pretty much knowing that we were going to be able to play a lot of people, not play more of our starters more than a half. We worked on our timing on offense. The speed of the game is a lot faster than the speed of a practice, and I thought that's what what we were able to do offensively. Defensively, we were just looking for rotation, trying to keep guys fresh, kind of understand what we want to do this year and getting people in and out, but also being able to communicate on the sideline, everybody understanding what's going on the field. We won't be as good this game as we will be 4 or 5 games down the road, nor will Temple. You know, everybody gets better. If you don't get better during the season, then sooner or later something bad's going to happen to you. So, you know, we know it's going to be a much tougher game. A very good football team, maybe the best football team coming in play us this year here in Nipper Stadium. So we don't have much time left to grow up, but that was a good game for us to be able to look at some guys on both sides of the ball and special teams to kind of figure out, are they going to fit in this scenario for us this year. So learned a little bit. Now we got to get better going into this week.
Okay, thanks a lot.
And we have time for one more for Coach Tuberville, please.
We'll go to Chris Heidel with Herb FM Radio in Baltimore.
Hey, Coach Tommy, talk about the environment there. You know, you guys had that stadium remodeled for the last couple of years. Was it like the home game on Saturday with the new upgrade?
It was really nice. Unfortunately, we had a 2-hour lightning delay, and it was going to be a packed house. I'm really proud of our students. We had a huge amount of students that came out, and it was kind of the opening, but this will really be the opening this week, knowing that it'll be a little bit cooler. It's going to be later. We had a lot of high school teams that were rained out on Friday night last week, and they had played on Saturday, so that hurt our crowd a little bit. I thought our stadium was really nice. It was loud, a lot louder than it has been in the past, simply for the fact we got a big overhang now from the press box, keeps the sound in. Our players were very impressed. We talked about it before and after the game with our team, but now all that's out of the way. We don't have any of those obstacles in front of us to think about. Now we've got to get focused as a team, and hopefully our fans continue to come out and support this team, knowing that we've got a very tough game this week.
And what are the 3 things that you have to, if you were an analyst for this game, not coaching this game, we've heard this game on TV, what are the 3 things that Cincinnati needs to do to win this ball game?
Well, we've got to tackle better defensively. We've got to be more consistent on offense. We had 2 turnovers. It did rain during the game. We never make excuses, but we've got to have a better focus on holding on to the football, knowing that we still got to just try to get better on offense. And then kicking game, again, we just weren't very good at all. We had a punt blocked. We got sloppy on some of the other parts of the kicking game. We were offsides. We blocked in the back on a punt return. All by young guys, all by guys that hadn't been out there. So that being said, there will be quite a few changes this week on special teams, technically and individually. So hopefully we get much better. We'll need to play much better on special teams than we did last week. Focus wasn't really there.
Well, good luck this week in practice.
Thank you.
Coach, thank you for your time this week. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday. Again, Coach Tommy Tuberville from Cincinnati. The Bearcats face Temple Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN News.